Dr. Montessori's concept of freedom and discipline was highly unusual for the time and completely contradictory to the approach that was being used in the traditional school system. In the Casa dei Bambini, there were children happy, busy working, and quite peaceful, and frankly, the public did not believe it to be true. When visitors came, they thought that she had some silent form of communication with the children to get them to behave in this way. And frankly, it wasn't the truth. They said that she was pedagogically absurd to employ this type of freedom within this prepared environment. So today we're going to talk about freedom and discipline. And first, we're going to really define what freedom is within this context. Freedom defined: the capacity to pause in the face of stimuli and make a choice to the exclusion of all other choices. Built on liberties and the ability to act upon the choice based on their independence and experience, act on it and stick with it. The child must have the right to act on their choice. Shaped by limits, consequences, and responsibilities. I mentioned that Dr. Montessori's application of freedom and discipline was very different than in the traditional setting. And really, the traditional setting has not changed a whole lot since then. I'd like to start with a comparison between the two. In the traditional school setting, the curriculum is set by the school district and the school board. All of the children of that age are going to learn the same thing. The studies are also timed during the day. So there's a certain time for math, followed by maybe language or social studies. But when that time in the day is reached, the studies will shift to something new. The reason they have this is pacing guides are often used to make sure that all of the students get through this curriculum by the end of that allotted school year. Assigned seating is also utilized. It could be in rows or groups. The adult is the one who decides where the children are going to sit. There's a scheduled time to eat. And when that time arrives, everyone stops their work and they go and they have their lunch or their snack or whatever that may be. There's also a scheduled time to be outdoors, usually on the playground for 20 or 30 minutes. All of the children will go for some very unstructured play. Discipline in the traditional school system tends to be punitive, whether that be marks on the board to identify how many times a child has misbehaved, or removal from the group and sent to the administrator's office. These are all what I mean by punitive aspects of discipline. Rewards are also utilized: stickers, gold stars, motivational charts, or prizes to reward the child for good behavior. When we put all of these things together, what we're left with is a very adult-centered approach. And this leads the child to a motivation that we would consider external or extrinsic. In the Montessori classroom, we utilize a 3-hour uninterrupted work cycle. And this gives the children a lot of time to move from activity to activity and maintain high levels of concentration. We're also not putting a set curriculum matched to them. What we're doing is we're watching their development unfold, and as mastery of exercises occur, we determine which lesson is going to come next. It is highly individualized and paced according to the development of each child. As far as seating, the child can sit wherever they like, whether that be at a tabletop or whether that be on a floor rug. We also do not designate specifically a time to eat. We try to have snack available for the children all morning long so they can come and eat snack when they feel that they're ready. We do have a time for lunch, but if a child is busy and highly engaged and would rather stay at their work for a little while, we can allow them to do that and they can join us for lunch when they're ready. As far as scheduled outdoor time, the entire work cycle is a scheduled outdoor time because children should be free to come in and out of the classroom into the prepared environment outdoors. They can take their work with them or they can engage in those special activities that are in the outdoor environment, like gardening. Dr. Montessori realized the futility in rewards and in punishments. She found that the children really didn't care about the rewards, and the punishments didn't matter to them much either. What was found is that the work was the reward. They enjoyed doing the work. That was all that they needed. And as far as punishments, well, we have natural consequences. Those are those natural things that happen after we engage in an action. And a natural consequence can give very powerful feedback to help us change our actions or change our behavior. That there was very little necessary for the adult to have to do in that regard. We provide limits for the child, which we'll talk about later, but natural consequences are a very powerful tool in helping the child modify their behavior. When we have all of these elements, we have an environment that is more child-centered, and it's easy to see that the adult is really taking a step back as far as being the prominent figure in that environment. When it is designed this way, we have a child who is motivated internally, and we would call that intrinsic motivation.